subversion and tactical resistance. Not of Man engages in a form of tactical resistance. This strategy involves using the tools of the very institutions they critique, like social media algorithms and government surveillance, to reveal their censorship practices. The psychological aspect lies in a calculated provocation meant to elicit a predictable reaction from these entities. This can be seen as a way of flipping the script, turning their vulnerabilities against them, and creating a space for dialogue about transparency and accountability. 2. Manipulation of fear and control. Understanding that their information would likely trigger censorship reflects a keen awareness of the power dynamics between individuals and large institutions. This tactic can induce fear among those in power, highlighting how scrutiny and exposure can lead to defensive actions that ultimately reveal their methods of control. By allowing these entities to expose themselves through their own reactions, Not of Man emphasizes how censorship operates, not just as a practice, but as a means of instilling fear and maintaining control over dissenting voices. 3. Psychological play with public perception. The choice to engage in a psychological operation suggests an awareness of the narratives constructed around censorship and free speech. By using their art to illustrate these themes, they position themselves not only as critics, but also as participants in a broader conversation about the implications of such power dynamics. This strategic framing encourages listeners to reflect on the nature of information dissemination and manipulation in the digital age, pushing them to become critical consumers of content. 4. Highlighting the paradox of control. In exposing censorship through their own tactics, Not of Man reveals a paradox at the heart of authoritarianism. The more efforts made to suppress information, the more likely those efforts will invoke scrutiny and create backlash. This dynamic can lead to a counterproductive cycle for those in power, where attempts to suppress dissent only amplify it. This theme highlights the resilience of the human spirit in the face of oppression and underscores the power of collective awareness. 5. Engagement and empowerment through exposure. By exposing the behaviors of big tech and government entities as part of a larger narrative, Not of Man empowers their audience to recognize the tactics used against them. This empowerment fosters a sense of agency among listeners, encouraging them to question not only the information they consume, but also the structures behind that information. Knowledge becomes a vital tool against those who seek to control it. 6. Reconceptualizing art as a form of resistance. The act of using their art as a vehicle for exposing systemic issues transforms their music into an instrument of resistance. This reconceptualization of art blurs the line between creative expression and activism. The song becomes a means of engaging with and understanding socio-political themes, inviting listeners to reflect on their own experiences with censorship and information manipulation. Not of Man's acknowledgement of conducting a psychological operation to expose censorship by big tech and government highlights their strategic engagement with power dynamics and the complexities of resistance. Through this lens, they position their art as not merely a reflection of personal experiences, but as an active participant in the struggle for transparency and accountability.